Hello, I would like to talk to you about voting yes in the Scottish independence referendum.
Normally I would rather watch paint dry, but I am waiting for someone, so go ahead.
Independence will solve all of our problems and we will finally be able to decide our own future without a foreign parliament.
Does that mean you are going to leave the EU? If not, then we will still not decide everything ourselves.
No, we will stay in the EU because we will be stronger as part of a union. But at last we can decide our own trade, fishery policy and tax.
But that will all still be decided in Brussels.
Yes, but we would have a seat at the top table, rather than being part of a large nation.
And we would be listened to by the big nations as often as they listen to the dozen other smaller nations. Don't you think we have more chance of getting our own way being part of a larger bloc?
Yes, okay, but we will have our own army and foreign policy.
But surely we could realistically only expect to only have an army about the size of the Danish army. Hardly a world superpower.
Okay, but we will finally be free of the pound and the economic policies focused on England.
What? You mean by adopting the euro and having an economic policy focused on France and Germany?
No, we could keep the British pound. But we will be showing the world we are a nation.
And we won't have the Queen of England as the head of state.
Actually, we will still have the Queen. But we will have a Prime Minister rather than a First Minister.
So independence means we just have to change some letterheads in Edinburgh?
Of course not. We will also be able to reap the huge benefits of the money pouring in from North Sea oil.
But the vast majority of the North Sea oil has been extracted and is sharply on the decline to such an extent that Britain actually has to import oil.
Maybe, but we would still get the money from what is left.
Even though it is likely that after independence the oil fields would be split between Scotland and England, and with the border as it is now, it is likely that most of the oil reserves would sit with England.
But there are other things, like we would get our own TV channels and news.
Have you actually seen the stuff made by STV?
Yeah? I see your point. But I think this is a chance for Scotland to show how different we are from England.
Really? Doesn't Glasgow have more in common with Liverpool and Leeds than it does with Oban or any of the Isles? Or the Highlands more in common with Wales and Ulster than it has in common with Edinburgh?
Maybe, but remember the spirit of Braveheart.
Ah yes. That must be a strong argument then. A fictional American movie, with an Australian-led actor backed up by a couple of thousand Irish army extras.
I mean, we could stand up and rise again, as the national anthem says.
You mean the 1960s folk song used at rugby matches is the biggest argument for independence?
No. I just think you should be a proud nationalist.
Why? Nationalism has not exactly been a force for good in world history. Or do you have the view that people are fundamentally different because they are born on one side of an imaginary line? Or you think that in a global world we should be pointing out differences rather than finding commonalities?
Then I think you should just vote yes, because we can stick two finger up at those Londoners and Tories.
I don't define myself by blaming foreigners and hating anyone who does not have the same political view as me.
I don't think you have listened to all the valid points I made.
I did. I will summarize. You want independence so we can be wholly self-governing, but not really. Use someone else's currency, have another country's queen as head of state, spend billions separating so we get a dwindling oil reserve, swap being part of a major power with being a bit player, get revenge for a battle 700 years ago and give Alex Salmond a new title.
Great. I shall put you down as a maybe then.